Councilmember Patterson. Here. Councilmember Clifford.
Here.
Councilmember Evans.
Present. Madam President, members of the council, let the record reflect that we're joined by everybody.
Yay.
Introductory item number 6, authorizing agreement with Rail Communications 4311 computer telephony integration. Comments, questions?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carries. Introductory number 7, amending ordinance number 2017-379 regarding agreement for state lobbying services. Comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. Move it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carries. Introductory item number 30, resolution reappointing marriage officers. Are there any comments, any questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. Move it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Motion carries. Is there any other business to come before the committee? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Karen, I love you.
I would like to call the Neighborhood and Business Development Committee to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Councilmember Ortiz. Councilmember Lightfoot.
Present, ma'am.
You here?
You didn't hear me? I'm present.
I'm sorry. Vice President McFadden. Here. President Scott.
All right. And I'd also like to comment that we are joined by everyone. And so let's get to it. Introductory number 8. And we are looking, give me a second, this is my first day doing this. Introductory number 8, authorizing the sale of real estate. Commissioner Muhammad, it seems as though we have a new program that has come to light that I think most council members aren't aware of. In particular, it would be the Neighbors for Neighborhoods program. Could you or one of your members, or one of your staff members, speak to it and tell us what this is and when it came into being and who can access it and who bought the house and all that good stuff?
Yeah, actually, this is a program administered through the Enterprise Community Partners. Believe it started in 2017, and the Land Bank will be the ones who are administering this program. I don't know, Dana, if there's anything else you wanted to add to that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, this is a new program. It is something that is the Land Bank has, for the time that it's existed, been able to acquire properties and sell them to developers. What we're looking at now is an opportunity to allow individuals to participate in that as well. So property owners can acquire these homes from the Land Bank, and the Enterprise Community Partners have made $4 million available to help with the rehab of these homes. You have a description in front of you here, but as you know, the local property owners can acquire the properties, and the advantage is the Land Bank can transfer these properties at less than the full value, and then the Land Bank will continue to oversee the rehab to make sure that it's done within specs, and will continue to make sure that the property has ongoing maintenance. But generally speaking, these are property owners that would be owning these properties, and they would become properties that would be rental properties.
Is there any more, can we get some more specifics on this? Because either this is a wonderful and amazing program, or this could well be a troublesome program, and I don't really know how to judge it or think about it, because I don't really have any information on it. And when you say anyone can approach the Land Bank to buy these properties, who exactly, is it really just anyone can come through? And yeah, I mean, what's the, who, where, what, how? What is the process for accessing this program and purchasing property? It sounds like it might be wonderful, but I don't know.
Yes, it is a wonderful program, but we'd be happy to give you specifics about exactly how people are pre-qualified to participate in the program, how they're selected, how the properties are made available, the knowledge of the properties are made available to them, so we can certainly provide that to you.
Okay.
And it was provided on the answer to one of council's questions, where we require what the property owners must agree to. And it outlines what the property owners must agree to, sign a regulatory agreement. They have to renovate to our specs. They have to ensure that the renters who have an eligible income, set the rents no more than 30 to 80% of the AMI, maintain the property in high standards, participate in the training program for responsible ownership and management. So, we do the first-time home buyers program for people to go through the first-time home buyers program and get the support of the city and the closing cost assistance. They have to go through a training program as well, agree to certain things for a period of time, and all of that. And so we will be requiring some of the same things here, but in a more extensive process, because we're looking at a 20-year commitment to abide by all the rules and regulations that the city has set forth in our property code.
Okay. Well, I know, I've seen it and I've read it, and I still have way more questions than are fair to ask now. So I guess I would ask if we could have a work session on this sometime soon.
Absolutely. We can work with your staff to make that happen.
Okay. And Councilwoman Ortiz, you have some questions?
There's actually a work session for the Land Bank to give their annual report. I believe it's on March 1st.
Okay.
So
Is there
we
any
have
chance
one coming up?
Any chance we might be able to move that up a little bit or something?
I can certainly see. There's only 2 other ones before, but we can try to, yes.
Okay, great. If Land Bank wants to keep that, that's fine, but if we could talk specifically about this topic, I think that would be a good thing if we could do that. Okay, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Ortiz.
No, it's okay. So if we'll get a work session, I'm sure I'll get more answers at that point in time. But just in general, what is the plan to advertise or promote that this exists, particularly in being one of the members that has been part of the Vacant Abandoned Property Task Force? There has been a number of discussion in individuals like organizations like Take Back the Land, Community Land Trust, things that have constantly come to us and said, you know, we'd like the opportunity to be able to acquire. So, I mean, this would be a prime opportunity if they could meet the requirements and the criteria for them now finally to be able to partake in this process. So that's question one in terms of promoting and making, you know, awareness of this. The other portion of it is, do we anticipate doing a pre-auction to the auction? So for example, if there are properties that have already been outlined on the tax delinquent list that'll be a part of that particular sale, is this something where if a pre-qualified individual would be able to identify a property ahead of time so that the land bank could attempt to take it and then work through that process of the rehab and so on and so forth?
I'll let the staff answer question number 2, but for as it pertains to number 1, I know that there, I did have a meeting with, and I think Councilmember McFadden had attended a meeting with the new tenants union, and so that will be which is a citywide tenants union, and so that will be a space where, you know, you can provide that information. Of course, working and advertising in our regular format and advertising on the radio and also PSAs and other things to make sure that people are well aware of the program is something that our goal is to have people be successful and to have them be able to, you know, have income for themselves and to be able to pull themselves out of poverty. And this is a way for us to renovate neighborhoods and communities and streets that is different than we've tried before.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, it's an investment that is worth making. As it pertains to the pre-sale or the pre-identification of properties,
Yeah.
I'll let Dana or Carol Wheeler answer that question.
Yes, in terms of pre-auction or pre-identification, that what normally happens is, as properties are delinquent and the land bank is looking at them, we'll try to identify properties that would require lower amounts of rehab, but we don't always know because we don't generally have access to the interior of the property. So generally, we're looking at the outside of properties trying to make a determination. But you wouldn't be able to actually go in and determine the actual condition until the property has been acquired. So you wouldn't really be able to do a pre-auction.
Councilmember Patterson, may I?
Okay.
Sure.
I noticed in this particular situation, the response that came back from the administration was that you look for, quote, local community members to take on the house, and certainly that's the case with this one on Madison Street, where the person actually lives on the block that they're acquiring the house from the land bank. I'm just wondering if we can think about, and I'd like to hear more in the work session, but putting some parameters on what the local community means. This is going to be incredible for Madison Street. I agree, it sounds like a wonderful program, but if local community isn't defined, the city is not that big geographically, and it may not always work out so beautifully.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
Councilmember Patterson, thank you. Just looking at on the city's website, did this property really sell for $1 million in 2006, or was that a typo?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Must be a typo.
Yeah, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked.
Didn't seem like it would have gone from riches to rags pretty quickly. All right, I will look for the work session for my other questions. Thank you.
All right, well, if we don't have any more questions, can I get a motion?
Move.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, so moving on to the next one. All right, introductory number 9, authorizing a lead agency agreement between the city council and the mayor regarding environmental review. Do we have any questions? No questions. Can we get a motion?
Move.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that one passes too. Item number 10, authorizing the acquisition of 768 Brown Street. Do we have any questions or comments on 768 Brown Street? Gone. All right. Can I get a motion? Can I get a second? Second, all right. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? And that one passes. All right, and URA, we're doing URA too? Andrea, we do the URA too? All right. All right, and we don't have to do the, Same way, all right, okay. All right. Rochester Urban Renewal Agency, URA 1, resolution approving the 2016-17 annual report of the Rochester Urban Renewal Agency. Do we have any questions or comments? No questions, no comments. Can I get a motion? Second. All in favor, please say aye. 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 All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. That completes this, I guess, is it? Yeah. Okay.
4:15, so I guess I can call the Committee of Parks and Public Works to order. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll.
Councilmember Evans?
Present.
Councilmember Spall?
Here.
Councilmember Gruber?
Here.
Vice President McFadden? Here. President Scott?
And we are also joined by our other council colleagues. The first introductory on the agenda is introductory number 11, bond ordinances of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $232,000 in bonds of said city to finance a portion of the cost of the cooling coil replacement project for the Joseph A. Floriano Rochester Riverside Convention Center. Questions, comments on introductory number 11? Hearing none, I want to, question, Councilwoman Clifford.
Thank you, Councilmember Evans. Just had a question on the incentive program that you talk about related to minority hiring. Is that the incentive program that's essentially points on the RFP?
No, that's not the case. We have an incentive program. We provide an incentive to contractors for hiring city employees up to $50,000 per construction job, per hiree.
Oh, all right. I did not read it that way. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other? President Scott?
Commissioner Jones, how much utilization has been made of that incentive program?
Well, it has yet to be really utilized. I think we really have to do a better job of promoting it. It's been on the books for the last 3 years, and we've been talking with purchasing to make sure that they know about it, but I think we have had some discussions with some of our contractors. I think we really need to re-emphasize this and let them know that this is out there for them.
What is the level of the incentive?
$50,000.
No, that's the contract amount, right?
Yes.
Contracts over 50, they can do an incentive.
$50,000, the level of the incentive is $50,000, and the contract amount, Jim, is what?
Yes, basically it's up to 50,000, and it's for those zip codes targeted, in the census, and it's just for hiring employees within those zip codes. And so it's really not based on a dollar amount of the contract. It's really just based upon employing those folks, and it's a portion of the salary that's up to $50,000. And I don't have all the specifics, but I can get them from purchasing and get them to you all.
So we know that it's not being promoted a lot, but do we know whether, for those who know about it, why they don't take advantage of it?
That's an opportunity for us to really do a deep dive with our contractors that have been bidding on our jobs and receiving the actual awards. We will reemphasize that. I think an outreach through purchasing and Constance Mitchell's, Jefferson's office will help us out, help us doing that. And this is something that we worked on to think out of the box to provide an opportunity to provide them an incentive that will help them provide opportunities for people within those zip codes.
Okay, my question is a little bit different though. For those who do know about it already, Like, I know I could get up to 50,000 and I don't want it. Why don't they want it?
That's a question we need to ask.
All right.
Thank you. Councilmember Patterson.
Okay, I think I'm a little confused because I remember there being a program that sounded similar to this, at least 20 years ago, because I remember talking to Wade and Charles Zedek about it then, and it was radically undersubscribed. So I'm happy to hear that you're going to do the research to find out why that's the case, but I had a chance to attend the Business Opportunity Program graduation for RSMP last night, and one of the things that they mentioned was that in phase 2 currently, $100 million out the door, roughly 40% of those dollars have gone to minority and women-owned businesses. And so my question is, going forward this year, can we track that with everything that we're doing with the contracts that we're letting? And can you let us know how we're doing? Are minority and women-owned businesses getting this work? We contract a significant amount of road repair and sewer repair and all manner of repair, and it seems as though it's the same contractors over and over again, and if that's the case, that's the case. But by now, surely, we should be able to identify some minority and women-owned businesses who can at least get in and do some of this sub work, and we should be able to document it, and I'm sure that there's a process that exists to do this, because RSMP has one and they're following it.
We do, and we can get that outline for you from Constance Mitchell, who's in charge of the program. And so we can tell you, and we encourage, we don't give out waivers easily. We encourage our contractors to utilize MWBE businesses and have looked at expanding the opportunity for MWBE businesses even as it pertains to RPR services and other things. But we can get you that number of what it is and make sure that you have that.
Well, in that case, that's wonderful. Could we possibly get that information for the last 3 years, in particular to contracting and things that have been let through PPW?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If there are no other questions, may I have a motion to approve introductory number 11?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That
Chairman
carries.
Evans, I have to abstain,
Okay, thank you.
so the vote would be 401.
Thank you. Motion carries. Introductory number 12 is a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $1 million in bonds of said city to finance a portion of the cost of the replacement of the operable partition walls at the Joseph A. Floriano Rochester Riverside Convention Center project. Questions, comments on introductory number 12? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve? It's been moved. Second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 And I'll abstain again on this one. I serve on the Convention Center Board, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Small. That carries. Introductory number 13 is a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $500,000 in bonds of the said city to finance a portion of the cost of the city's 2018 lead service line replacement program. Councilmember Patterson.
Thank you. This is wonderful to see. Is this being driven by the fact that we've got a grant from the Department of Health, or is this going to be an ongoing thing that we are going to do as a city?
This particular bond ordinance is ongoing, that we do on a routine basis to replace a certain number of lead services when we do M&R jobs and road reconstruction jobs.
Okay, so going forward, this is going to be a regular thing that we're going to be seeing as you're going to line the main, and then you're going to mill the road, and when we mill the road, we're going to come back in and we're going to do those lead lines in that area?
I think we do the lead lines first, then we
Okay, well,
mill the road, then we restore it.
Okay.
But yes, that's kind of sort of what we're doing. We have been doing this for a number of years. So
Okay.
replacing lead services when we do a water service or a M&R job or reconstruction job. That's been ongoing.
Okay. Has it been contained? Is this something that's been contained in in previous? Because I just don't remember seeing this one before.
It's been there.
Okay.
We've been doing this for a number of years.
Okay. Thank you. Good work.
Thank you. Anything else on introductory number 13? I'll entertain a motion to approve introductory number 13.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. Introductory number 14 is a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issue of $1.4 million in bonds of the said city finance to a portion of the city's 2018 water main cleaning and cement lining project of the distribution system water main renewal program. Councilmember Patterson.
Minority and women-owned contractors. Have we ever had any do this work? Are there any out there that do this work?
Well, it's my understanding, and the Director of Water, who is a PE, will correct me if I'm wrong, that this is a specialty type of application that only a few people can do. And we've had a relationship with this company and another company that have been doing this for us for the last, I believe, 30 years. And if it's something that's not a specialty application, I'm going to ask Pat to correct me. Pat?
No, you're correct. It is specialty work. There's only a certain number of contractors that are qualified and have the equipment to be able to do this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on introductory number 14? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Introductory number 15 is a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $1.4 million of bonds of said city to finance a portion of the city's 2018 water main extensions and improvement project of the distribution and Holly System water main renewal program. Any questions, comments, or concerns on number 15?
So moved.
It's been moved to second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Introductory number 16 is authorizing an agreement and payment with change for Reynolds Street and Seward Street Rehabilitation Project. A public hearing will be held at 5 p.m. After the committee meeting, which is today on January 18th, 2018. Questions or comments on number 16? Councilmember Gruber?
Just one comment, Commissioner Jones. In the previous public hearing on this particular project, there was a family present who had some issues over there right by School 19 and asked for a speed hump. I'd just like to make sure that someone reaches back out to the family and make sure that their comments and concerns are addressed.
Yeah, Councilperson Gruber, I believe that was Mrs. Carver. Eric Frisch from our engineering office is reaching out to her to make sure that those concerns are being addressed.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on introductory number 16?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Thank you. Introductory number 17, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $1,310,700 in bonds of said city to finance the reconstruction of certain portions of Reynolds Street and Seward Street related to the 2018 Reynolds and Seward Streets Rehabilitation Project. Before we take the amendments, any questions, comments, or concerns on introductory number 17? May I have a motion to amend, correcting the typographical error that omitted the S at the end of Reynolds Street?
Move to amend.
Second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Back to the original introductory number 17 on Reynolds Street. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Introductory number 17 is approved. Introductory number 18 is a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $334,000 in bonds of the said city to finance the reconstruction of water lines along certain portions of Reynolds Street and Seward Street related to the 2018 Reynolds and Seward Street Rehabilitation Project. Before we get to the amendment, questions, comments, or concerns on number 18? Hearing none, may I have a motion to amend, correcting the typographical error that omitted the S's at the end of Reynolds Street?
Move to amend.
Moved and seconded.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Back to the original introductory number 18. Anything further? May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved. Seconded.
Second.
It's been approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Thank you. Introductory number 19, authorizing an agreement with Edge Architecture PLLC for architectural and engineering services for the Central Library's Master Space Plan Phase 4. Questions, comments around introductory number 19?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 19 is approved. Thank you. Introductory number 20, authorizing an agreement extension with New York State Department of Transportation for snow and ice removal. Motion to approve. Any questions or comments on this?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you. Introductory number 21, authorizing an agreement with the New York State Department of Health and the receipt and use of grant funds for lead service line replacements. Questions or comments around this? Councilwoman Clifford.
Thank you, Councilmember Evans. I just wanted to take the opportunity, since we're talking about this issue, to thank Commissioner Jones and Director O'Connor for taking our concerns seriously. I think for the benefit maybe of the newer council members, the lead service line replacement replaces the public aspect of the lines that goes, through the streets, but not to the house. And they won't replace to the house. That's the private property owner's responsibility. So the education for me is really critical, because I think there are a lot of renters and residents who don't necessarily realize that even though their pipes outside the house have been replaced, they may still have lead lines connected to the house. So the steps that they can take, very simply running that water and testing the water if they have concerns is still a really critical piece. Lead paint remains the #1 poisoner of young children, but thank you for that opportunity, and thank you again for the education piece.
Thank you, Councilmember Clifford. Anything else on introductory number 21?
So moved.
Moved and seconded?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Introductory number 21 is approved. Introductory number 22 is authorizing agreements and funding for the Comprehensive Access and Mobility Plan. May I have any questions or comments related to introductory number 22?
So moved.
Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Is there any other business to come before the committee? Hearing none, this committee is adjourned. Thank you.
Before I call the Public Safety Committee to order, I first like to acknowledge our young people that are with us today. The young people in the audience, could you please stand up, please? Y'all looking around like y'all don't know who young. Just want to give y'all a hand clap for being here. Thank you. All right, I'd like to call the Public Safety Committee to order. Can Madam Clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Lightfoot.
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz. Here. Councilmember Gruber.
Here.
Vice President McFadden.
Here.
President Scott.
Here.
And for the record, I'd like it to be added that all council members are present. We will start with introductory number 23, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement with the Rochester City School District for after-school recreation programming, authorizing the receipt and use of funds, and amending the budget of the City of Rochester. Any questions, concerns, comments? Seeing none, I entertain a motion.
She gave a motion to adopt. Need a second. You need a second.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Introductory number 24, authorizing an agreement with the Rochester Area Community Foundation for the receipt of funds for the Youth Voice One Vision program and amending the budget of the City of Rochester. Any questions or comments?
Move to adopt.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Introductory number 25, authorizing a grant agreement with the New York State Archives. Any questions or comments? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
All in favor?
Did you get a second?
Oh,
Second. Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Introductory number 26, authorizing receipt and use of Burn Justice Assistance Grant for the Gun-Involved Violence Elimination Research Supplement from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services and authorizing an agreement with the Rochester Institute of Technology. Any questions, concerns, or comments? Councilman McFadden.
Mr. Chair, I would ask that you hold this in committee so that we can have further dialogue about our relationship with RIT, the Burns Grant, and some other things. I have some concerns about just what is it that we're getting out of our relationship with RIT. There's been over $1 million spent over the last 10 years, and I'm not sure that we've gotten much out of that. And so as the most senior council member sitting up here, I can tell you, and being former chair of public safety, I can't tell you one thing we've gotten out of this relationship.
Any other?
Can I just add to that, that maybe we can have a work session with John Clough or whomever, so that it's a public meeting for us, that we're all invited. Thank you.
I would really support that. I'm not in the committee, but one of the questions I have, and I've talked to Adam about this, is are our expectations for RIT as strident and as clear as they should be? Because what we get back is really not that useful to us. It's a lot of money. One of the questions is who's writing the grant, and is RIT writing the grant and writing themselves and helping the city? I don't know, but I think over the years we've raised questions about both the quality of the reports that we get and just the information that comes out of it. So I appreciate you holding it where we can get some more information.
Any other
Yes,
comments?
It was noted that we want a work session with Dr. Clofus or someone from RIT, but I think even more instructive would be hearing from the police department. If most of the work is done, supposed to be in support of them and their work, we need to know whether or not they believe that's happening as a result of these studies.
Okay, I'm going to agree with my colleagues and ask that this be held until we have either a it sounds like it may be 2 work sessions, actually, one with RIT and then potentially a work session with RPD to also tell us how they're being affected by this particular. I too was amazed at how much money has been given here. Of course, I haven't been here, so it would be nice, I'm sure, as the rest of our new members, to get a little more information about this particular spending item. So I would ask that it be held.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Are there time pressures that are affected by this delay?
I'll have to defer to the chief.
The term of the agreement is through September 30th, 2019, so we should be okay if we delay for a month or 2 in order to conduct the work sessions.
Thank you.
And it can be a joint work session.
Okay, very good. All right, so is there?
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to ask that this be held until further notice. Thank you. Introductory number 27, authorizing agreement for pet spay and neuter services. Any questions or comments? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Introductory number 28, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement with the County of Monroe for funding for firearms instruction. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Introductory number 28 passes. Is there any more business to come before this committee? If not, the committee is adjourned.
We will call the committee of the whole to order. I'll ask clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Clifford?
Here.
Councilmember Evans?
Present.
Councilmember Gruber?
Here.
Councilmember Lightfoot?
Present, ma'am.
Councilmember Ortiz? Councilmember Patterson? Councilmember Spall?
Here.
Vice President McFadden?
Here.
President Scott?
Here. Introductory number 29, resolution confirming the appointment of the Corporation Council. Questions, comments? There being none, is your motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 9-0. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Oh, golly. We have a...
There is a public hearing at 5. We do have, what, 1 item? 2 items? 1 item. Good evening. The meeting will come to order. The Rochester City Council public hearing meeting will come to order, and the clerk will call the roll, please.
Councilmember Clifford. Councilmember Evans. Councilmember Gruber.
Here.
Councilmember Lightfoot.
Present, ma'am.
Councilmember Ortiz. Councilmember Patterson. Councilmember Spall.
Here.
Vice President McFadden.
Here.
President Scott.
Here. I now ask the clerk to begin the hearings.
Pursuant to law, public hearing will now be had on the following matter: authorizing agreement and payment with changes for the Reynolds Street and Seward Street Rehabilitation Project. Introductory number 16. Any persons desiring to speak in reference to said matter will now be heard.
If there are no speakers, that hearing is closed. That concludes our public hearing for this month. We'll see you on Tuesday.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow, I like this. This is nice. We had the county got to hold the committee meeting. Thank you.